In today's video, we'll be talking, as you might expect, about the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which has just arrived today for all its buyers. What you're seeing is the unboxing of the product done just a few minutes ago. The first thing I have to point out about this unboxing is that the orange color is absolutely stunning. If you're someone who doesn't like flashy colors, please refrain from commenting. But for anyone who wants to let the world know they've bought the new iPhone, please get it in cosmic orange, because it is truly spectacular. We have a USB-C charging cable and a SIM ejector tool, because for now, these phones in Europe still use a SIM card, except for the iPhone Air. Let's check out the features of the device, but first, let's take a look at the design. The design of this iPhone 17 Pro Max, which, in terms of size, weight, and dimensions, is very similar to the previous model. We'll get into that later. Here we have the camera control, the button, the SIM slot, the power button, volume controls, and speakers at the bottom. This is the first unboxing, and here you have a comparison with last year's black iPhone 16 Pro Max, which we also reviewed on the channel. As you can see, the most striking thing is the camera panel, which is now larger at the top with that module. The middle part is now made of glass and has this two-tone color, with an even lighter shade of orange. Other than that, it's exactly the same as last year's phone. Here you can see the thickness from the side. You don't need to grab any tools like a caliper to really know how thick the device is. Technically, it's the same on the bottom as well. And without a doubt, the most eye-catching thing is the camera module, which sticks out a bit more because it's longer at the top. And as you can see in this orange color, the iPhone's design really stands out. As you can see, after 40 minutes, I already had all the information transferred. And this is the main screen of the iPhone 17 Pro Max, where they tell you about the new features of the operating system that come with this phone, but will also be available on previous phones. What we're going to look at in today's video is mainly the cameras, which is where most of the new features are, if not the only new features, apart from the software, when it comes to the hardware of the device. We're going to take a look at the cameras, and to do that, I'm going to use a system where I record the iPhone screen so you can see exactly what I'm doing through the iPhone screen recording, and you'll know that none of the photo or video tests you're about to see have been tampered with. We'll start with outdoor zoom tests. As you can see, this is the camera's zoom. We have 0.5 times, 1 times, 2 times, 4 times, and 8 times, which is new this year. It crops from the main sensor. And then we have a digital zoom that goes up to 40 times. This is the result you're seeing from the camera setup. Honestly, it doesn't feel like a huge leap compared to last year's, which had the 5 times zoom as the long distance camera, but this is the result from the 8 times camera, at least for photos. To give you some perspective, this is the 5 times camera. This is the 1 times camera. This is the 2 times camera. Now let's look at the 4 times camera. See how we're getting closer? Now we see the 8 times camera. All of this is optical. And now the 40 times digital zoom. And this is the final result, a digital zoom, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. For video, it's pretty much the same story. You can go through the same range using the same lenses. One thing to highlight about iPhones is that, really, among all the phones out there, it's probably the one with the smoothest zoom of any phone I've tested, because you can go from the digital zoom you're seeing now all the way to the ultra wide-angle zoom, almost without noticing the lens switch, in a super smooth way, as you can see. That's something that, for those of us who shoot video, is really impressive. And this is one of this year's new features. When holding the phone vertically, you can simply press a button to switch the image to horizontal. And it's super practical, because you can hold the phone in a much more natural way. And I can record myself, as you can see on the screen, so you can also see the result. It's good that they've added this, although honestly, it's arrived very late to the iPhone. Honestly, if I'm being truthful, for users who want to buy an iPhone mainly for photos and videos, there are phones on the market that are more affordable than the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max. At the end of this video, we'll talk about the price of this iPhone, which is definitely not cheap. But those who buy this iPhone, the Pro or the Pro Max, honestly do it for its professional features. In fact, the Pro label is more justified on the iPhone than, for example, on other models, which don't have, for instance, the codecs that the iPhone has. These codecs are actually very interesting when it comes to recording video. Last year, we introduced ProRes, a video format that allowed you to record with virtually no compression and therefore have a ton of information within the recording. And now we have ProRes RAW, which takes the device's capabilities even further, reaching new heights when it comes to professional production. And we also have OpenGate within the sensor, which lets you record not just most, but with the entire sensor, something that allows you to reframe later. And we also have the option to add timeline tools so you can match the image with other cameras. This also ties in with the vapor chamber camera, which means that, due to the heat generated by these codecs, the device heats up much less noticeably than in previous years. This makes the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max really make more sense within the iPhone family than the iPhone 17, which a lot of people are praising since it's probably the model to watch for the consumer market because that's where they've made the most changes, among other things, adding the 120Hz display. But these iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max models still make a lot of sense for professionals because of the video codecs and the vapor chamber, in addition to the OpenGate sensor and the ability to add timelines with external tools. So, I'm not going to say that the price of the phone is justified, because we're about to talk about the price now. It's actually a really high price. The iPhone 17 Pro, which starts at $1,099 or €1,319, and the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which starts at $1,199 or €1,469. So, obviously, unless you're a professional who's going to use the professional recording formats or take advantage of the more pro features of the device's cameras, honestly, the investment just isn't that justifiable when it comes to getting one of these devices. As a final conclusion to this video, is this phone really that big of a leap compared to previous versions? Probably not. There's been some evolution in the design. We have a bigger camera module, and there's the orange color, which makes it an ideal phone for those who like flashy devices. But honestly, there aren't many strong reasons to upgrade. If you need to buy a phone and you haven't had an iPhone before, or you're coming from a really old iPhone, like the iPhone 14 for example, getting this phone is actually a big step up, and therefore, it's a highly recommended purchase. Among other things, as always with Apple, the phone is very well built and its features are very solid, because as an iPhone, it always sets the bar high for photography and video.